Welcome back. All right, 7-game night tonight in the National Hockey League. That is done. We have an 11-game day tomorrow. I will be reviewing the 3 matinee games on their own tomorrow, and then the 8 evening games, obviously, in the evening. So, just throwing that out there at the start, but let's go ahead and get things started with Toronto in Buffalo. It's Murray versus Luukkonen. For Murray, it had been more than 600 days between games in the National Hockey League, and Toronto scores on their first shot. It is McMahon from Domi and Robertson at 129. Malenstein nearly answers. The Sabres score, but they take the goal away because there was a 4-minute penalty to Buffalo on the play. So, bit of a controversy there because they initially didn't look like they were calling it, and then they did. So, Tavares has a net drive that's blocked, and then at 6:05, during the second 2 minutes of that power play, and on what was only the third shot of the game for Toronto, Matthews scores, Nylander and Marner with the assists at 6:05. Then there's a near miss for Matthews on a tip in close. The Sabres press at the half. We get a power play for Buffalo. That's killed off. Byram's denied from the slot. The Leafs press in the final minute. It's 2-0 Toronto after 1. Second period, there's an early press by Buffalo, but on a 2-on-1 rush at 1:53, Robertson goes 5-hole for Toronto. Riley and Timmins with the assists makes it 3-0. However, at 2:22, Peterka gets that one back. He gets his first in 7 games. That gets Buffalo on the board. It's 3-1. Sabres look for another, but at 4:27 on a cross-crease pass on a rush, Domi buries one, so he stays red hot. McMahon and Marner with the assists on that, so it's 4-1 Toronto. Reimer comes in. Ruff's having a little chat with his team during Luukkonen's exit, letting them know what they're not doing right and all this stuff. But for Lindy Ruff, he has to be running out of things to say and answers. Leafs look for another. The Sabres press at 9 minutes, but at 10:47, during a terrible line change by Buffalo, Pacioretty scores from Nylander and Tavares. And when it's a line change like that, you can maybe put that on the coach, but at any rate, that makes it 5-1. The Leafs press for another. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. During the 4-on-4, Samuelsson goes bar down from the left circle. Power and Peterka with the assists at 15:56. The Leafs press to respond with 2:17 left. The Sabres get a power play. That's killed off. It is 5-2 in favor of Toronto after 2. Third period, there's an early press by the Leafs. The Sabres press at 2 minutes. 6 minutes in, the shots are 5-1 for Toronto. Sabres press at 7 minutes. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. And then at 11:56, Power scores from Kulich and Samuelsson. The Leafs then draw a power play. That's killed off, but it takes 2 minutes off the board. The Sabres score. It's challenged for goalie interference. This is tricky because if it counts, it's 5-4, and the Sabres have a power play. However, they agree it's no goal. The fans let them know they didn't agree with that call, at least the Buffalo fans in attendance. There was a lot of Toronto fans there as well. The goalie gets pulled, and at 19:40, Nylander hits the empty net from Tavares and Tanev. Toronto wins this one 6-3. They go to 21-10-2 with the win. Buffalo gets further and further and further into the bottom of the league, or at least the bottom of the East, 11-18-4 with their 12th straight loss. Shots on net, 9 apiece in the first, 12-11 Toronto in the second, 8-7 Toronto in the third. Final shots, 29-27 for the Leafs. Power plays, Toronto 1 for 3, Buffalo 0 for 2. The hits, 26-24 Toronto. Matt Murray saves 24 out of 27. Luukkonen saves 9 out of 13, and then James Reimer in relief saved 14 out of 15. So just a rough night overall for Buffalo, but it is sadly becoming just the way of things. All right, Montreal and Detroit. This was highly entertaining. Remember, they play tomorrow night in Montreal. Montembeault versus Talbot. There's an early press for the Habs. In fact, they're ahead in shots 5-0, 2.5 minutes into the game. Fans call when the referee does not. The Habs press at 5 minutes. At 7:07, Heineman puts in a wrister from a distance. Evans and Matheson with the assists. It's a 1-0 lead for Montreal. Teams trade rushes. Seider prevents a goal by Evans. Shots are 11-7 Montreal with 7 minutes left. At 13:27, Kane scores. That's his second goal in 2 games. I think he's got goals in back-to-back games now. Kopp and DeBrincat with the assist, so it's 1-1. Then there's a post for Seider on a rush. Laine has a net drive. That's blocked with 2:56 left. The Wings get a power play, and Montreal scores on it. It's Jake Evans, unassisted at 18:31 to put them up 2-1, and then the Habs finish the kill, which is important, but at 19:27, a point shot goes in. It's Petrie from Rasmussen to tie the game at 2 during some nice pressure there by Detroit near the end of the period. So it's 2-2 after the first. Second period, the Wings press at 2.5 minutes. Hall has a one-timer that's held. We get a power play for Detroit. That's killed off. The shots are 3-1 Montreal at 7 minutes. Wings go back to the power play. That's killed off. Veleno has a rush chance. That's defended. Doc then has a chance that's held as the Habs press. With 4:01 left, the Habs get a power play. That's killed off. The Wings press after it's done. There's a near miss for Slavkovsky on a turnover. It stays 2-2 after 2. Third period. At 1:40, on a turnover rush and on a nice pass by Rasmussen, Mott buries one. Detroit has the lead at 3-2. Habs look to respond. The Wings press are kept to the outside. A net feed to Tyler Mott gets blocked. Shots are only 2 apiece at 6.5 minutes. And then at 8:42, Jack-Eye scores. Armia and Heineman with the assists, so the game's tied at 3. Doc can't bury one as the Habs press. We then get a power play for Montreal, and they score on it. It's Laine again. He wires one past the screen. Hudson and Caulfield with the assists at 12:02. That makes it 4-3 Montreal. The Habs press for another with 3:53 left. Detroit gets a power play. Montreal kills that off, and the Habs hang on. Your final score in this one's 4-3 for Montreal. They go to 13-16-3. Detroit 13-15-4 on the year. Shots on net, 14-13 Montreal in the first, 10-5 Montreal in the second, 10-9 Detroit in the third. Final shots 33-28 Montreal. Power plays, the Habs 1 for 2, Detroit 0 for 4. The hits, both teams had 12. Montembeault saves 25 out of 28, and Talbot saved 29 out of 23, or 29 out of 33, sorry. 29 out of 23. He was above 100%. He was that darn good, and they still lost. All right. Next up, St. Louis and Florida. So it's Hofer versus Bobrovsky. The shots are 3-1 Panthers at 3.5 minutes. But good forechecking by the Blues. St. Louis gets some pressure at 8.5 minutes. Kachuk with a net feed. There's a near miss there for Florida. And then Sundqvist with a nice tip over Bobrovsky's shoulder. He scores from Texier and Bolduc at 9:59. The Florida announcer said it was a fluky one, and I thought, that was a nice tip in front. I think there's some skill to that. So there's a power play for Florida. Broberg then takes a puck to the visor/helmet. Good thing, because if that had hit him in the face, he probably wouldn't have finished the game. The Blues do kill off that power play. The Panthers with some pressure after. Florida's getting steals. Good puck pressure in that first period, but they're behind 1-0. Panthers press with a minute and a half left. Broberg then has a buzzer beater that's saved. It's 1-0 St. Louis after 1. Second period, there's an early press by the Blues. Rodriguez has a rush chance that's held. More pressure by St. Louis at 2.5 minutes. But here's the key thing. Despite all of this zone time, they're being kept mostly to the outside. They're not getting shots on the net. The shots are only 2-1, and they're in favor of Florida 7 minutes into the period. Blues press at 8 minutes. Fowler has a shot that deflects wide. And then at 10:58, Balinskis roofs a cross-ice pass. Barkov and Kachuk with the assists. The game's tied at 1. Blues look to respond. Luostarinen with a near miss. Puck's cleared out. The shots are 7-6 St. Louis with 4.5 minutes left. With 3:06 left, the Blues get a power play. Kairu's denied during that. That power play is killed off. Panthers press in the final minute. It's 1-1 after 2. Third period, there's an early power play for the Blues. That's killed off. St. Louis presses at 3 minutes. The shots are 2-1 St. Louis at 5 minutes. Kulikov is a net feed. That's blocked. No easy pucks for the Blues in that third period. Florida doing everything they can, bearing down in this one. Neighbors to Thomas gets blocked. The shots are 5-4 Florida with 6.5 minutes left. Panthers press with 5 minutes left. They get more pressure with 2.5 left, but we're going overtime. In the overtime, the Panthers control early, and then they have a rush that goes offside. The Blues press. They're kept away from the net for the most part. Holloway has a 2-on-1 chance that's saved. The Panthers, they then get a power play to close out the overtime. And at 4:42, Barkov scores on the power play from Ekblad and Reinhart. So Florida wins this one 2-1 in overtime. They go to 21-11-2, and they keep pace with Toronto. The St. Louis Blues, that's another point loss. They're 15-16-4 on the season. Shots on net, 10-7 Florida in the first, 11-7 St. Louis in the second, 9-6 Florida in the third. In the overtime shots, 3-1 St. Louis, but Florida's the shot that matters. Final shots, both teams had 27. Power plays, 0 for 2 for St. Louis, 1 for 2 for Florida. 21-20 were the hits in favor of St. Louis. Hofer saves 25 out of 29. Bobrovsky, 26 saves on 27 shots. So 25 out of 27, 26 out of 27. It was that close. I did say 25 out of 27, right? I think I might have said 27 out of 29. Giving him extra saves. I'm getting him some confidence. All right, next up. The last one on this board is Carolina and the Washington Capitals. This kind of had a playoff feel to it. So it's Kochetkov versus Lindgren, Protas to Dubois. There's a near miss. We get a power play for the Capitals. Near miss for McMichael during that. That's killed off. Shots are 5-0 Washington 5 minutes in. The Canes press at 8.5 minutes. They're kept to the outside. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Natchez to Aho. That pass gets picked off. Shots are 6-3 for the Caps with 6 minutes left. So you can see that neither team's got an easy path to the net. The shots are being kept at a premium. Canes press with 4.5 minutes left, but in the McNugget minute. So if you want free McNuggets, well, they scored in 2 McNugget minutes. So do you get two orders of McNuggets? You should. And if McDonald's says no, you just tell them the hockey guy says that's not fair. At 19-17, Protas deflects one top corner. Mangiapane and Roy with the assists. It's 1-0 Washington there. With 2 seconds left, the Canes get a power play, so that rolls into the second period. The score 1-0 for the Capitals. Jarvis is denied and close. The Capitals do finish the kill there. The Canes go back to the power play, so Washington kills that one off as well. Shots are 7-2 Carolina at 8.5 minutes. The Caps press with 8 minutes left. Walker has a screenshot that saved. And then at 16-11, Vrana scores for the Washington Capitals from Lapierre. That makes it a 2-0 lead. Duhaime has a rush chance that's blocked. And in the final minute, the Caps get some pressure. And they score again in the final minute. This time it's McMichael from Ferrari and Dubois at 19:33. So that should be 2 orders of McNuggets right there. Come on, they scored in the final minute twice. So it's 3-0 after 2 periods of play for the Capitals. Third period. Canes press at 2 minutes. The fans call when the referee does not. The Canes had the only shot on net for anybody 3.5 minutes in. Natchez is denied as the Canes get some pressure, I should say. We then get a power play for the Capitals. That's killed off. Carolina presses at 9 minutes. And at 10:22, Jarvis scores from Aho and Burns. So that makes it 3-1. The Capitals would answer, but it was determined on the replay that the net had been knocked off before the puck entered the net, so therefore no goal. The Canes challenge it counts. Then it's challenged for goalie interference, and that challenge makes it no goal. I knew it didn't count. I didn't read my notes. I apologize. I will always read ahead from now on. So yeah, they score. The net was not off. They counted from that perspective. They were not checking it for goalie interference. I always wonder if they go over to the coach and go, do you want a challenge for goalie interference? Because you might get it. The Capitals don't end up getting that goal. It stays 3-1. Goalie pull happens with 3:10 left, but the Caps just do a really good job of blocking the net. They hold on. They win this one by that score 3-1. Washington 22-8-2 with the win. With the loss, Carolina 20-11-1. Shots on net, 10-6 Washington in the first, 11-6 Carolina in the second, 8-6 Carolina in the third. Final shots 25-22 for the Canes. Power plays, both teams go 0 for 2. The hits, 23-12 Washington. Kochetkov, 19 saves on 22 shots. Lindgren, 24 saves on 25 shots. Let's go ahead and change boards. All right, Rangers and Dallas. So Shesterkin versus Ottinger. The Stars score early. Challenge for offside. Yep, offside. So they get it back. At 1:46, Rope Hintz scores from Lundqvist and Robertson. And that's how you do it. The Stars shooting from all over early. The shots are 4-1 for Dallas at 5.5 minutes. The Stars press at 8.5 minutes. They're kept to the outside. Dallas then draws a power play. That was a mistake. Riley Smith on a turnover breakaway scores a shorthanded marker at 10:44. It's a 1-1 tie, and then New York finishes the kill. Do not make a drinking game out of Dallas's power plays tonight. I don't want to be responsible for that. So the teams trade rushes, and then at 15:20, Trocheck scores from Fox and Panarin to give the Rangers the lead, and then the Rangers look for another. With 3:43 left, Dallas gets a power play. That is killed off. With 32 seconds left, there's too many Rangers on the ice. Dallas back to the power play. So it's 2-1 for the Rangers after one. Second period, Hintz gets denied and close. The Rangers finish killing off that power play. 2 shots on net. New York gets a power play of their own. Panarin hits the post during that. That power play is killed off. Panarin snaked it tonight. Shots are 3-2 for the Rangers at 5.5 minutes. Rangers go back to the power play, so Dallas kills that one off as well. Ottinger's the reason this game's staying close. Bork has a net drive that saved. Borgen then has a 3-on-2 chance that's turned aside. There's a power play for Dallas, so that's a no. That's killed off. 1:56 left. Kreider guilty of a face-off violation according to the referee. Not according to the Rangers, he wasn't. But Igor continues to be fantastic, so it stays 2-1 Rangers after 2. Third period, Duchesne has a rush chance that's blocked. Panarin says goal. The ref says no, and on the replay it shows that it did not go in. It actually hits the outside of the net, so you see the mesh ripple. So he must have thought it was in the net, but it was on the outside. Stars go back to the power play. It's not good. I wrote right here, it's not good. It's getting worse. They're 0 for 6. Shots are 4-2 for Dallas at 7 minutes. Rempe gets a 5-minute major. It's reviewed. It was a dumb hit. It was. And this is an easy one for Department of Player Safety. I think he's probably going to get suspended for it. It's Matt Rempe. So again, it's an easy one, right? So that's a 5-minute power play for Dallas. They should have just turned it down in retrospect. So Duchesne has a shot that's held. The Stars call a timeout about halfway through it, but it's killed off. If Igor sees it, he saves it, so that 5-minute power play just takes 5 minutes off the clock for Dallas. Stars press with 5 minutes left. Things are pushed on hold by Igor. The goalie pull happens with 2:56 left, and at 17:54, Kreider hits the empty net. Cooley and Trocheck with the assists. Dallas pulls the goalie again, but they lose this one 3-1. The Rangers go back above NHL 500 at 16-15-1. Dallas 19-13. The inconsistent play continues, and it's starting to negatively impact their home record. Shots on net, 14-9 Rangers in the first, 18-11 Dallas in the second, 15-5 Dallas in the third. Final shots, 42-30 for Dallas. Power plays, the Rangers 0 for 3, Dallas 0 for 7. Their power play's been in free fall recently. The hits 28-13 Rangers. Shesterkin 41 saves on 42 shots. He was excellent. So was Ottinger. 27 saves on 29 shots. I'm not going to try to put it on Otter because that wouldn't make any sense. All right, next up, Utah and Minnesota. So it's Vejmelka at one end, Fleury at the other. We get a power play for the Wild. That's killed off. Utah presses at 4 minutes. The shots are 5-0 for the Wild at 6.5 minutes. Sergachev fires one high from the slot, and then at 10:20, Zuccarello buries one blocker side to get the scoring going for Minnesota. Kaprizov and Rossi with the assist. But exactly a minute later, Utah answers. At 11:20, it's Gunther, who's been their top scorer this month. McBain with the assist. And then Utah looks for the lead. We get a power play for the Wild. That's killed off. Goudreau's denied after that comes to an end. Utah presses in the final minute. It's 1-1 after 1. Second period, early press by the Wild. Goudreau can't bury one in close. The shots are 3-1 for Minnesota 3 minutes in. Wild press at 4.5 minutes. We get a power play for Utah. That's killed off. Utah then scores, but a goalie interference challenge is put in, and yeah, no goal. So that one comes off the board. Utah goes back to the power play. That one's killed off as well. We get a press by Utah with 3 minutes left. With 2:31 left, Wild get a power play. Boldy hits a crossbar during that. That is killed off. It's 1-1 after 2. Third period, good early back and forth between these two teams. Both teams blocking the net pretty well. The teams trade rushes. 4 minutes in, neither team has a shot on net. We get a power play for the Wild. That's killed off. Utah presses at 7 minutes. The shots are only 2 apiece, 9 minutes in. We then get a power play for Utah. They score on this one. Gunther deflects one 5-hole for his second goal of the game. Sergachev and Schmaltz with the assists at 10:01. The Wild look to respond. Utah presses. Sergachev denied. Huznadinov has a rush chance. That's saved. The Wild draw a power play. That's killed off. Utah presses with 4 minutes left. The goalie pull happens with 1:40 left, and Utah hangs on. That is 7 wins in a row on the road. They win this one 2-1. They go to 16-11-5 on the season. Minnesota now 29-4. Minnesota's officially struggling. Shots on net, 9-8 Minnesota in the first, 11-4 Minnesota in the second, 9-6 Minnesota in the third. They do outshoot Utah 29-18. Power plays, Utah 1 for 3, Minnesota 0 for 5. The hits, 11-9 Minnesota. So not a big heavy hitting game. Vejmelka was great. 28 saves on 29 shots. Fleury saves 16 out of 18 at the other end. And so Utah just keeps rolling. All right, next up, Colorado and Anaheim. So this was the final game of the night, obviously. Wedgwood versus Gibson. And then we had a fight between Middleton and Johnston early in the game. So a couple of verses on the board. The goalies did not fight, but the two skaters there did. The lone shot on net 2.5 minutes in is for Colorado. We get a power play for the Avs. Carlson has a one-timer this block. That power play is killed off. The Avs press at 8 minutes. Then there's too many Avs on the ice, so the Ducks get a power play. That was killed off as well. The shots are 6-3 Anaheim with 8 minutes left. The Avs press with 7.5 minutes left. McTavish is denied on a rush chance. Ducks controlling, but they need a goal. Like they had a lot of zone time. They had a lot of puck control, but they were not getting enough really good shots at the net, enough traffic in front either. 2:52 left. Colorado gets a power play. That's killed off. And then the Ducks with some pressure to close it out, but it's 0-0 after one. Second period. Ducks press at a minute and a half. The Avs get pinned down for a bit, and Leo Carlsson tips one in. Trouba and McGinn with the assists at 2:40. Anaheim with the opening goal. We then get a power play for Colorado, or would have, but it was taken back. It was a high stick, and they're like, nope, we're good. And they take it back. Comes off the board. Makar's then robbed from the slot. The Ducks draw a power play not too long after, and a shorthanded goal is scored by Parker Kelly. He wires one on a 2-on-1 rush. Logan O'Connor with the assist at 6:40. It's a 1-1 tie. Avs then finish the kill, which is the really important part of that. Trouba has a shot that's blocked as the Ducks press, and then at 10:58, Gibson just did not have that puck. It was behind him, so Nichushkin buries it from behind him. Makar and Girard with the assists, and Colorado with their first lead of the game at 2-1. Ducks press for a response. We get a power play for the Avs. That's killed off with 3:13 left. The Ducks get a turn on the power play because why not? And the Avs kill that one off as well. So it's 2-1 Colorado after 2. Third period. Terry has a chance it's held. The Avs would draw a power play, and at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, on a cross-ice pass, Makar puts it in. It's Makar from McKinnon and Rantanen. That makes it 3-1 Colorado. The Ducks press at 6 minutes. The Avs go back to the power play. That's killed off. Shots are 5-2 Anaheim with 9 minutes left, but at 13:05, a puck goes in off Killorn's knee. Now, originally it was Carlson and Minchukov. Then they said nope, and they had no assists. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you just kneed it into the net? Nobody helped him? That doesn't make any sense. Who threw it at the net? So currently it shows Killorn from Minchukov. They took away Carlson's assist. We'll see if Carlson's assist comes back. But yeah, so it goes in off Killorn's knee, but it makes it 3-2 and adds a little excitement to this one. Ducks look to tie it. We get a penalty shot for Girard. That is saved. With 3:53 left, the Ducks get a power play. That is killed off. Very important. They then pull the goalie, and McKinnon hits the empty net from Rantanen and Nichushkin at 18:41. They would pull the goalie again to no avail. Colorado wins 4-2. They go to 20-15 on the season. Anaheim 12-15-4 on the year. Shots on net, 12-5 Anaheim in the first, 13-9 Colorado in the second, 10-5 for Anaheim in the third. They do outshoot Colorado 31-23. Power plays, Colorado 1 for 4, Anaheim 0 for 5. The hits 27-17 for Anaheim. Wedgwood, 29 saves on 31 shots, continues to improve that save percentage for the team. Blackwood, Wedgwood have both been very good for them. Gibson, 19 saves on 22 shots, but that doesn't tell the whole story. I thought Gibson had a pretty good game too. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts regarding these 7 games in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.